Joe Biden has stage 4 cancer. Who knew? Apparently nobody, they would have you believe. Let's chat about that.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. I'm surviving on the top of the line!
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, and this is the Afternoon Drive. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. It's the only way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. So we learned over the weekend that former President Joe Biden has prostate cancer, which has metastasized to the point it is now bone cancer. There are doctors saying this is at stage 4, meaning he does not have long to live. Now, let me just say at the outset that obviously cancer is a horrible, horrible sickness, illness. It can be absolutely devastating, painful, and life-ending. However, I'm not going to take the same course that some conservative pundits are. And some of you may be a little shocked because, Pastor, you're supposed to have this compassion and bedside manner. We're talking about an individual who is corrupt to his core. This is a man that has gotten away with just unbelievable criminal behavior. And the timing of the release of this information, they certainly knew about this a year ago. There is no way in less than a year he got prostate cancer that became bone cancer. So that means a year ago, that would be the election cycle. Joe Biden knew, or at least Joe Biden knew, somebody within the Biden sphere knew this medical diagnosis. And they were going to run him anyway, knowing full well that it was a pretty good probable chance he was going to pass while serving a second term if he was elected, thus handing the country over to Camilla thinks she's a hottie Harris. They kept this from the American people. I mean, that's just one level of cover-up. But stop and think about this now. Joe Biden and his wife tried to come out and do this comeback tour, and of course, the hags at The View were more than willing to play along and have him on there and fawn over him and say to their apparently dillweed audience that all applaud, that said, "Don't you just miss this man? Don't you just wish this man was still in office?" You have Jake Tapper and the rest of the media that knew about the mental decline of Joe Biden. They were part of the cover-up, but now they're writing books about the cover-up. And they're feeling insulted that the Biden administration lied to them about the president's cognitive ability or lack thereof. They're doing two things. They're covering their own arses, and now they're trying to make a buck or two on one of those tell-all books that's and after the fact. And now, over the weekend, they dropped her audio interviews of Joe Biden that certainly do not paint him in the best light as far as senility is concerned. And there's two theories on that. Is Joe really that gone, or does he know that at some point his crimes were about to catch up with him? And hey, like an old mafia don that gets rolled into a courtroom in a wheelchair, on oxygen, and looking feeble with a lap blanket, the jury doesn't want to make the connection that this feeble, frail, frightened old man sitting in front of them for years was ordering the hits and executions of different people and flooding their community with everything from illegal narcotics to prostitution to name it. That's Joe Biden. But I really do believe there is a mental cognitive issue there. He wasn't play acting on the stage that night with Donald Trump in that wretched debate performance. And the reason he just wasn't able to do all that well is, well, whatever concoction they were giving him to make him somewhat coherent, they failed to give it to him that night. But Joe Biden is dying. And now it comes out after her audio drops, after these tell-all books, because they want to neuter all of that. They want you to feel sorry for him. This is a man that was bathing with his teenage daughter. This is a man who there have been credible accusations of sexual violations against him, from him. No prosecutor was interested in looking into it. The DOJ wasn't interested in looking into it. There is the entire selling out American security for profit, which is his influence peddling in Ukraine, using his son as the pack mule to get the big guy his payments. I mean, the crimes of the Joe Biden family. His son died a horrible death of cancer, and his other son took advantage of the widow and strung her out and becoming basically a crack hoe and making, homemade porn with him. This is an absolutely vile family. And while all of this was going on in his life, he thought, hey, I'm just going to run for president. Not to mention the Democratic machine, which protected him. And they rigged the primary to cheat Bernie Sanders for the second time out of the Democratic nomination. Which, you Democrats that are watching this right now out of pure curiosity, what's this nasty right-winger going to say about Joe Biden? You all admit that the Democrats change the rules as they want to when they want a result. They did it for Hillary Rodham Clinton. They added superdelegates, which nobody knew anything about, which all of a sudden, catapulted her to become the nominee. They basically did the same thing for Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders. So you understand that they have a machine in place that they can get the results they want for a primary. Why can't you make that next mental leap and say, if they can do it at the primary level, I wonder if they can do it on the national level? You think? The only reason they couldn't pull it off this time, too many eyes watching, and it was too big to rig. That's it. Yes, I'm still one of those absolute diehards that's convinced Trump won in 2020. He didn't get it, and I really do believe, in hindsight, that was the best thing. Not for the country, well, maybe for the country, but definitely for Donald Trump, because it gave him 4 years to really learn how everything in Washington works, so that when he gets in there now, oh baby, and we'll be making another commentary on the fact that the Supreme Court has just cleared the way for him to remove the 350,000 Venezuelans that are here seeking some type of asylum. And the Supreme Court said, no, the president can remove them. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Joe Biden, criminal to the core, corrupt to the core, has cancer. On the one level, it's a tragic thing. I'm not going to feel sorry for him. This is a man who claims to be a man of, quote, faith, and yet he's violated his own faith when it comes to his policies on issues like homosexuality, abortion. This is a man who continually lies on top of lies on top of lies about what happened on January 6th. This is a man who is deep state up to his eyeballs. Those of you who are not people of faith will call this karma. Others of us will look at this not with glee, but with a seriousness and say, there really is a God. And you may escape justice in the court systems here, but in the end, you do not escape actual justice.